Steve Morales here, quick video review for the WholeFoods brand grass-fed whey protein. A lot of the research that I've done on the difference between regular whey protein and grass-fed whey protein in terms of the amino acids in there, I mean the amino acid profiles are pretty much the same. The big thing that you're looking for when you buy this though, and it says here right on the front, it's made with milk from cows not treated with RBGH, which is the reticulum bovine growth hormone. Now what that does is, they inject it into the cow and it allows them to produce more milk. So you're essentially injecting this cow and you're getting more of a yield. You're getting more milk out of the cow so you can sell more, so your profits increase. Now with that, they end up over milking. And when they do that, the cow's udders end up, a lot of times, because they're being over milked, they end up getting scabbed up. I mean, they're going to break out essentially on that udder. It's going to scab. That they're not in necessarily the best living conditions, so they're going to get pus in there if they get infected. That's all going to end up in the milk and potentially in any product that you're going to take out of that. Now, so I'd say that it's really the animal welfare. When you're looking at a grass-fed whey protein, you're really like, how are the animals treated, I think is really the main thing that you're going to go for. And just the fact that it is grass-fed. Like I said, as far as the research I've seen, I haven't seen a huge difference between the amino acid levels once you extract it. But the living conditions and then kind of the health of the overall animal is going to be better if it's grass-fed, because it's an herbivore. It's supposed to eat grass versus feeding it a whole bunch of corn, right? It's in an acidic state if it's eating a whole bunch of corn, because its body can't digest that as well as it does with the grass. Now, here it says naturally flavored, no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. And then cold filtered is a big one right here. If you heat treat something, a lot of times a lot of the nutrients can break down. For the protein, you're going to denature it. What that means is that the protein itself has a specific configuration. You're going to begin to change that and break it down. Ultimately, we want the small parts of that though. We actually want the building blocks of those proteins. We want the amino acids. So cold filter is a huge plus. A lot of people are switching to cold filter anyways, because you end up losing a lot of your protein, your product, if you end up heat treating it too much. This has 17 grams of protein per serving. Serving size, 1 scoop, and this only has 14. I got the small one because I wanted to try this out. This is chocolate. Calories, 90 calories, 1 gram of fat, 45 milligrams of sodium, 170 milligrams of potassium, 4 grams of carbs, 1 gram of sugar, and it's not sweetened with sucralose. A lot of these other reviews that you've seen me do, that's one of kind of the main complaints is that they're putting in a synthetic based sweetener. So with this, they've actually put stevia in there. Now stevia is, or stevia, however you want to pronounce it, 300 times sweeter than table sugar on the sweetness scale. And there is a sweetness scale, you can look it up. Sucralose is pretty high up there too. But there are no calories from it, and it's natural. So it's not going to cause an insulin spike either. Sucralose is still going to cause a small insulin spike. This won't necessarily do that. This is where it might get a little bit tricky. So sugar is 1 gram. Usually for a protein drink, you do want an insulin spike. If you're taking this post-workout, you're going to want some type of sweetness. You need an insulin spike so you can drive this protein into the muscle. With the 1 gram, it's a little bit on the low side. Usually you want 2.5, maybe all the way up to 4 grams of sugar, so you can get that insulin spike. So with this, I might add in something else, or I might end up eating something that's slightly sweet, or, I mean, you can have an apple, right? Complex carbohydrate there, and that'll cause that. So I might not take this solely on its own. If I want to get really, really specific with what I'm doing, you don't have to. It might be a little bit more beneficial if you did, but you don't have to. I would do that post-workout, but I wouldn't do that for any of the other ones. Now, here we have whey protein concentrate, cocoa powder. This is where this wording gets tricky. Natural chocolate flavor, natural vanilla flavor. I mean, natural is such a blanket word. I don't like that lack of transparency when they say natural. I mean, if it's a natural chocolate flavor, it just should say cacao or chocolate, right? It shouldn't say something else. So they have that in here. Xanthan gum, it just helps it basically turn it into a powder. It's going to mix easier is really what they're looking for. Luhanwu fruit extract, whey protein isolate, and then they're just saying that the cacao or cocoa powder is essentially a fair trade international certified, which is good, making sure that they're getting this sourced well. Overall, it's a decent protein. I do like the fact that it doesn't have the RBGH in there. The living conditions for the animals are going to be much better. Price, I think this was right around $20. Is it worth, for $20, just the 14 servings? I mean, that's really up to you. You're going to be obviously paying a little bit more for grass-fed anything. Doesn't matter what it is. But overall, decent. And I do like the stevia. That's awesome that that's in there. I do like the fact that it it's free of the RBGH. I like that it's cold filter. Those are all huge pluses for this. Price point, a little bit high. I don't like the fact that it just says the natural flavors when they should just tell you, I mean, what does that mean, right? As far as the amount of protein that's in it, I mean, 90 calories and you're getting 17 grams, that's pretty good. So this is going to be really, really good for anybody that's wanting to do something that's low calorie, but they're still getting a decent amount of protein. So more for my females that are wanting to get the protein in, but they don't necessarily want high amounts of calories. I usually cover whether or not I would drink this in just straight up water. And this one's a little weird. And sometimes I'll actually taste these. I'll just put it on my spoon and just eat it while it's just a powder, just to see how it tastes. And with this, it's halfway in between. It's kind of an odd one. It wouldn't be my first choice to put this in water, but I would ultimately. It's not as good as far as taste as a Pro Gym or a Syntha 6, but I like the components in here a little bit more. So it's kind of that trade-off that you're going to do. So I wouldn't be my first choice. This would definitely go better with some type of almond, hemp, coconut milk. Definitely great for smoothies too. So overall, I think it's a good one. It just comes down to whether or not it's a concern for you that you get your whey grass-fed or not, or if taste is a huge thing and you're like, I am only going to be able to drink this in water, then I would definitely try it to see if you like it and then make your decision from there. So good product, definitely give it a try. This is the grass-fed whey protein from Whole Foods. Make sure you check your price points, just because I'm pretty sure they're going to mark up the price. It's going to be probably more expensive depending on where you're at with that. But it's definitely something good to add to your arsenal of options when it comes to protein drinks and shakes. So if you have any questions or comments, please do that below. This has been Stephen Rouse. Thanks for watching.